5 Lessons from Rich Dad's Guide to Investing. In this video, I'm going to share the 5 biggest lessons from Rich Dad's Guide to Investing by Robert Kiyosaki. This is the 3rd book I've read from Robert, and it's also the 3rd one in the Rich Dad series. I really hope you enjoy this one as much as the previous ones. Let's start now. When Robert was just 12 years old, he went for a walk on the beach with the man he called his rich dad. Suddenly, Rich Dad pointed at a big, beautiful house by the ocean and said, "You see that house? I just bought it." Robert was shocked. At the time, Rich Dad wasn't even rich yet, so how could he afford such an expensive house? When Robert asked, Rich Dad smiled and said, "I couldn't afford it, but my company could." That one line changed Robert's life. This book is based on all the lessons Rich Dad taught him, lessons that helped Robert become truly wealthy. Let's go through the 5 key takeaways, and see how you can use them too. Here is your takeaway 1, build assets that buy more assets. Robert noticed that even though his real dad had a good job and earned a high salary, he could never afford things like that beach house. Meanwhile, his rich dad, who didn't have a fancy job, somehow could. Why? Because Robert's real dad worked for money, while Rich Dad built assets that made money for him. Rich Dad explained that if you want to become truly wealthy, you need to create your own assets, something that earns money even when you're not working. A job pays you by the hour, but an asset pays you while you sleep. As Warren Buffett once said, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you'll work until you die. Once your first asset starts bringing in cash, use that money to buy more assets. Over time, your money will keep growing, like a snowball rolling downhill, getting bigger and bigger. Here's another smart move Rich Dad made. He bought assets through his company instead of buying them personally. Why? Because a company can spend money on investments before paying taxes, but individuals pay taxes first, and invest only with what's left. That's a huge difference. Plus, owning assets through a company gives you protection. If something goes wrong, your personal wealth is safe. In short, don't just work for money. Build something that earns for you, and use those earnings to buy even more money-making things. Here is your takeaway 2, use debt as a tool, not a trap. People usually think debt is bad, but that's not always true. Robert says there are 2 kinds of debt, bad debt and good debt. Bad debt is what most people have. They take loans to buy expensive things, like a bigger house, a new car, or a fancy vacation. These don't make money. They just create bills, stress, and dependence on the next paycheck. As income grows, spending grows too, and that's a never-ending trap. Good debt, on the other hand, is what rich people use. They borrow money to buy things that make more money, like real estate, businesses, or other assets that bring in cash. Good debt strengthens your cash flow and helps you grow wealth faster. In short, bad debt buys stuff. Good debt buys income. Learn the difference, and use debt wisely. Here is your takeaway 3, maximize the right expenses, minimize personal income. This one sounds strange, spend more and earn less? But here's what Rich Dad meant. When Robert was 9, he worked for his rich dad mowing lawns, earning 10 cents an hour. One day, he asked for a raise. Instead of giving him one, Rich Dad stopped paying him altogether. Why? Because he didn't want Robert to get addicted to a paycheck. He said, paying people to do work trains them to think like employees. Employees focus on earning more and spending less. Rich Dad wanted Robert to think like an entrepreneur, someone who reinvests profits instead of just collecting paychecks. So when he said, maximize expenses, he meant invest more in things that make you better or your business stronger. Like learning new skills, hiring good people, buying new tools, or attending seminars. And when he said minimize income, he meant don't pull out too much money for yourself. Let your business grow and reinvest profits, don't shrink it by taking all the cash home. In short, spend money on growth, not comfort. Invest in yourself and your business, not just your lifestyle. Here is your takeaway 4, master the 3 E's, education, experience, and excess cash. Rich Dad said that to become a successful investor, you need 3 things: education, experience, and excess cash. Let's break them down. Education: learn how money and business actually work. Understand how to read financial statements. They're like X-rays that show what's really going on in a company. Without this knowledge, every decision you make is just a guess. Experience: don't just study business, start one. Rich Dad used to give Robert and his son blank financial statements and ask them to fill in the assets section with real ideas. He didn't care what they started, as long as they tried, failed, learned, and tried again. Every mistake was a step towards success. Excess cash: once you've built education and experience, money will start to come in. Use that extra cash wisely, reinvest it, leverage it, and grow your wealth. Most people leave school looking for jobs. Rich Dad wanted his students to look for opportunities. In short, learn, try, fail, repeat, and money will follow. Here is your takeaway 5, start today. Don't wait for the perfect time. Start now. When Robert was young, Rich Dad made him start his first business while still in school. Robert now tells his readers the same thing: keep your job if you need it to survive, but use your free time, energy, and money to build something on the side. You'll fail a few times, that's normal. In fact, Rich Dad said, as a business owner, you don't have to be right 51% of the time. You only need to be right once. Most millionaires lose several businesses before they finally hit success. But the average person never even tries once, and that's why 10% of people control 90% of the money. In short, start small. Fail fast. Learn faster. Keep going until it works. Here's a quick recap before you go. Let's summarize the 5 key lessons from Rich Dad's Guide to Investing. Create assets that make money for you, and use that money to buy more assets. Use good debt to grow your wealth faster. Reinvest profits and spend money on things that help you grow. Learn, gain experience, and build extra cash to spot opportunities. Start today. Even small steps can lead to massive success. You only need to be right once to change your life forever. Thanks for watching. Now go out there and start building your money machine. See you in the next video.